Hey, everybody. Welcome back to episode 16 of Continuously Refined. I'm Shayna.
And I'm Sicily.
And in today's episode, we are going to dive into the idea around alcohol, the negative effects that it has on our bodies, our overall health, how Cicely and I manage college, which is pretty much every event that we ever go to surrounding by alcohol, how we balance like a healthy relationship while still drinking alcohol, some days going out sober. So this is going to be a jam-packed episode.
Yeah, I love that this is coming right before Thanksgiving. Happy Thanksgiving, everyone. But I also think it's funny just like before the holiday season, because I think that's another one that for everyone that's not in college, that just tends to be big drinking holidays for Thanksgiving, for Christmas, everyone's getting together. And those are definitely times that are super fun to have some alcohol and hang out with people. But we just kind of wanted to talk about what alcohol really does to your body and just kind of make people more aware of the effects it does to your body because I think a lot of people are just like, oh, I know it's bad, but like, oh well, like why? Like why is it bad?
Yes, I'm really excited to dive into that aspect of like, here is how alcohol affects our bodies. So then everyone can go, like, just inform everybody and inform our listeners. So then everyone can go make decisions knowing, like, consciously what it's going to do and why they feel drunk and what that kind of comes from and stems from. But really, to start, like, no judgment zone. We're not out here preaching to you guys, telling you not to drink because we very much do.
Yeah.
And I love a good vodka soda, and this loves a glass of wine. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
these are things that like they bring us joy, and so we're not going to pull away from that. But I think within the last year and a half, I have really made like overall lifestyle changes in the way that I've been eating and exercising. And with that came significantly decreasing my alcohol usage. I mean, summer going into college and then freshman year, I was drinking a crap ton. I was drinking 4 days a week. And this wasn't like one drink 4 days a week. This was like drinking 4 days a week. And
Yeah.
so once I started to kind of realize like that I had PCOS and I needed to be making changes, one of the biggest things my doctor said was like, you need to get rid of alcohol. So there was a period of time where I think I didn't drink for like a solid 4 months, like not one sip of alcohol did
Mm-hmm.
I have for 4 months. And I saw like a really big like improvement of my health. And now I've kind of started to work it back in and drink a little bit here and there, but really, really now decreasing the amount of alcohol that I drink and completely changing what I was drinking too.
Yeah, true. I would agree. I think that my freshman year of college, I was drinking almost every night to an extent, which is just crazy to think about, and also crazy to think that my body was able to support that. Now, barely being able to support, like I drink 2 nights in a row, and I'm like, geez, my body is not okay with this. Which is just hilarious. But I was also drinking, I think, really sugary drinks, like margaritas all the time, or like my go-to was like vodka Crystal Light, which like is great and tastes great, but has so much sugar in it. And so yeah, definitely have changed kind of what I drink now and have really focused a lot on fixing my hormones. That's kind of the biggest thing that alcohol for me was disrupting, and it was super inflammatory to my stomach. So I had to look into it for that reason too. And the beginning of this year, I cut it out like this semester for a while, mainly because it was even like I've noticed the increase in my anxiety with drinking alcohol because of everything with my stomach, and cutting it out just made me feel so much better. And I was like, wait, I can go out and have so much fun without it. And there's also these fun seltzers that you can drink that make you kind of feel like you have something, but they're still good for you with adaptogens and stuff like that. So there's definitely other options, but we've definitely both been sober at different times. Not to say that alcohol isn't fun and that going out isn't fun, but you can be sober and still have fun. And I think we've both learned that in the last year for sure.
Yeah, and that was one of like the scariest things I think for me of being like coming up with like accepting that I would not be drinking and accepting that I would be going out to these frat parties or these bars or just a hangout with my friends like a movie night, and that it would be okay to not drink and it would be okay to be the only sober one there. And
Yeah.
that's really scary to like walk into that. And I think it takes a lot of courage to do that. And it takes like, okay, once I get over the first one, like I'm such a fun person.
Hmm.
And like I'm a fun sober person. Um, so that was definitely a big thing, knowing now, like once we've done it, like it is okay to be sober. And, but then
And you
also
could still be
balance.
fun. I think that was, I remember talking to all of our friends about that at the beginning of it, being like, I like am convinced. I mean, this is like a very emotional thing, but like I was convinced that I was not a fun person without it. And everyone was like, wait, that's not true at all. And so like then I also was able to prove to myself that I can still be a fun person without it and that like my personality is enough without alcohol, which is a cool thing to know. But I definitely think that like if I mean, if anyone that's listening is questioning going sober for a period of time, it's great and it's super fun. And it's easy to still kind of mix it in here and there, but I definitely don't regret the times that we have gone sober. And I feel like I continue to say, like, post grad, I want to do it for longer periods of time and like look into it even more.
And I think really with like being sober, the amount of times or the next morning that I have regretted drinking because I feel so shitty and I feel so sick, I have never regretted not drinking. I've never
True.
regretted being sober and going out sober, but the amount of times that I've regretted drinking. So I think that's like a good thing really to like pro and con, and just like
Yeah.
balance. Like we're still going to go out and drink and we're still going to have fun, but I don't need to do it all the time.
Yeah.
And so definitely something it's really nice having Sicily and like having that friend who you can go out sober together with. Um because sometimes your drunk friends when you're stone cold sober are a little challenging to deal with or like the environment to be in
Yeah.
can be a little challenging. But yeah, so that's kind of some of the changes that we've been making, just decreasing our alcohol usage. And I have noticed immense changes. I mean, I feel
Mhm.
so much better, not only the day after because I'm not hungover, but my gut and my hormones, I've really seen changes and I felt so much better. So kind of to dive into the effects of alcohol, alcohol is a depressant. And so it's literally a drug that slows the messages from your brain to your body. And so that's why you may get like, you're moving a little slower or you're not allowed to drink and drive because you're not allowed to have quick reactions because those messages are being slowed from your brain to your body. And even moderate drinking, which is 2 to 3 drinks a week over the span of 7 days, is directly correlated with cancer, significantly breast cancer and prostate cancer. So I think that is, again, a huge red flag for some people to consider. Alcohol is also just empty calories. I mean, you are not getting any nutrients, anything positive out of alcohol itself. So I think that's another thing to consider too.
Yeah, and it depletes our body of vitamins and minerals. Like, again, it's not doing anything beneficial for us. And it's also killing the good bacteria in our gut, which we'll dive into more later too.
Something that I found really interesting when I was researching the effects that alcohol has on our body is the detoxification system and what our body has to go through because it's not just like digestion of food, but it's really detoxifying because alcohol is a drug. Our body has to goes into this immediate response to excrete and get rid of it and get it out of our bodies. So pretty much the alcohol goes through the process. It turns into acetaldehyde, which is poison, and then it goes into acetate, and then it goes into carbon dioxide and water. Acetate is that it's called. So it goes through this 4-step process before it can get fully rid of it. So the first step, it turns into acetaldehyde, which is poison. It's pretty much the toxic byproduct of alcohol that causes extreme inflammation to our liver as well as our liver cells. It damages them like crazy because it is that toxic poison. And then from there, it turns into acetate, which is that less toxic form, but still toxic. So pretty much our body has to go through these phases to bring down the toxicity of the alcohol. And then finally, after the acetate, it turns into carbon dioxide and water, and then our body can excrete it. And so in order for our body to go through this process of pretty much detoxifying, our body has to work in overtime and overdrive to get the alcohol out of our systems. So it's pausing all of the other really important processes that our body is going through during that time, whether that is digestion or you get slow breath or decreased heart rate because our body is working in overdrive to get rid of alcohol. So I think that's a really important thing that everybody should know, and why, you feel really drunk and then you kind of crash down and then you get the hangover after. And that is all a byproduct of the detoxification process.
I think that's an important thing to note too when you think about sleeping and you think about how alcohol affects your sleep, because it's kind of like what we've talked about before with digestion of like if you're eating too close to going to bed, your body's not able to do those detoxification processes that it wants to because it's so focused on digestion. It's kind of the same thing for sleep is your body's then trying to detoxify this alcohol, this substance that's not really supposed to be in your body from your body. And then it can't do any of the other processes that it's supposed to be doing while you're sleeping. On top
Yeah.
of that, it messes with your sleep in so many other ways, which we'll dive into right now too.
Yeah, I think you kind of, when we get really drunk and then we go to sleep, we think we slept so good. Like, you are like, geez, I passed out. It was great. I don't feel good now, but I passed out. But really, you're in this pseudo, if you were really drunk, if you drank a lot of alcohol, you're in this pseudo sleep, which is a very low level hypnotic like sleep, because your body is still working in overdrive to get that alcohol out of you. You think you're sleeping, but you're not going through those deep and REM and light sleep cycles that you should be going through. You even are more likely to wake up multiple times throughout the night. That's why a lot of people like wake up at 6 or 7 and think they're okay when really they've only got 4 hours of sleep because their body wasn't really sleeping.
That's so interesting to me. Like, I'd really never thought about it because, again, I was always the person too that was like, oh, I got like great sleep, or like, oh, I didn't wake up till 10 the next morning. Like, that was great. I got to sleep in. But it is, I mean, it makes total sense as to why your body wasn't actually able to get that sleep.
Yeah, that good quality sleep that we talked
Yes.
about last time.
Yeah, Shayna, have you noticed from your aura ring at all, like any nights that like after drinking, like that you didn't sleep well? Did you look after
Yeah.
like Saturday or anything?
Oh yeah, I looked. Yeah, Saturday was a really fun day. We had game day.
Last
Um
game day, we had to go all out, and we did.
and and we did, and we drank a lot.
Mhm.
Yeah, and I checked my ring and my sleep cycle. So you go like from light sleep, REM sleep, deep sleep, and back. Were all messed up. Like, I was in light sleep pretty much the whole night, barely had any deep
Interesting.
or REM sleep. And then it shows, the aura ring shows not only your sleep but your recovery, and my recovery score was horrific. It was in the 30s, and usually I'm in the 90s. So pretty much that meant that my body hadn't recovered. My body what didn't go through the normal um like calming processes, and so I wasn't recovered at all.
That's so crazy. Like, I think that
Yeah.
seeing those scores would like entice me to go sober for like a longer period of time. Like, I'd be like, yep,
Yeah,
nope, I'm good, thanks.
I am obsessed. I recently got the aura ring for my birthday, and I'm actually obsessed with it. I get so excited when I wake up in the morning. I'm like, how did I sleep last night? And how was my workout? And da 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 da. So I love it. It's been awesome to check. And I'm definitely like, okay, Thanksgiving's approaching, but maybe I'm not going to drink because I want a good score. I want a good recovery score. So, yes. But kind of, so that's what I've noticed with the
Nice.
aura
I
ring.
can't wait for you to
Yeah.
do a whole episode for us on your aura ring.
Oh, I will for sure. Go right into it. And then a few little other things about sleep. Kind of just like the main reason that you're not getting good quality sleep is because you still have alcohol in your body and you still have it in your bloodstream, and your body is going to work in overdrive to detoxify it, and that alters your sleep. You're not getting that good quality sleep. And I think that's one of the biggest things for me on why I want to decrease my alcohol usage or not drink, is because I want to feel good the next morning, and I want to be productive and be able to do things the next morning, not have to lounge around, sleep till 11 to feel good.
Yeah, I would definitely agree. Then, like, another really big thing that alcohol affects is our gut, which we've kind of talked about a lot and we've already even touched on in other episodes for sure. But to start, it disrupts your gut microbiome, the bacteria that's in your microbiome, and it decreases the diversity of the microbiota in your gut and can cause overgrowth of that bad bacteria.
When we think about, I mean, when you would like fall down and scrape your knee, the first thing that like the school nurse would do is would put alcohol in it because it would kill all of the bacteria. And you're pretty much drinking a very similar form of that alcohol. And it is just, it kills all of that good bacteria inside of your gut that you've worked so hard to build up. And like through diversifying the foods you eat, we work so hard to get our gut microbiome back to normal. And when we're drinking, we're going back to square one.
Yeah, which is something that I struggled a lot with and kind of why I tried to limit alcohol a lot. And it can cause leaky gut, which is something else we talked about pretty early on for episodes. But alcohol weakens your intestinal linings, and that makes it more permeable for toxins and those bad bacteria to come in and cause that leaky gut.
Yes, definitely a huge negative side effect of alcohol is that leaky gut because it takes a long time to repair that
Yeah.
back to normal. And it really increases your pro-inflammatory molecules. And that was a really big thing that I needed to focus on with why when we say like it, we're trying to really balance our hormones. And like that is a huge step for us right now. And alcohol has all of these negative effects like the gut and the bad sleep and increasing your inflammation. And that is what's throwing off our hormones. So the inflammation molecules are a big one. And then that gut brain impact, kind of how we said that it's a toxic poison that slows the messages from your brain to the rest of your body. And one of those things is your gut. And it can trigger, kind of like you had mentioned, sis, that anxiety as well as depression and overall mood disorders because of the way that it is getting in and messing up the messaging system. It's creating blockages and causing those signals to go in other directions. And that's why we may feel a little bit off with our personalities.
Yeah. And then that kind of leads into then the next day after drinking when you
Oh,
wake
the
up,
next
or
day.
sometimes even that day, depends on when you started. Um,
Thanks.
but, but I didn't mean that to be a call out to you. You just took it that way. But hangovers are like definitely the worst part of drinking. And I mean, we all kind of know a lot of the effects, but they'll inhibit your ability to be productive the next day. I mean, even anxiety can be a big thing. So that gut brain impact and how your body will just start spiraling over all of these things and being super anxious about things that might not even normally make you anxious. You've also gotten bad sleep, which is contributing to that as well. Your body's overworking itself because it's trying to get that poison out, which we talked about in the detoxification process earlier on. And I mean, essentially, the only way to not get a hangover would be to not have drank the night before or the day of or whenever you drank.
Yeah, there was a study done that kind of went into the types of alcohol that you drink and then the hangover that it causes. And again, really the only way to solve a hangover is to not drink. But there were a few types of alcohol that were better to drink than getting a for the hangover. So beer is actually much less likely to cause a hangover compared to whiskey and gin. And then rum and red wine are more likely to cause hangovers compared to whiskey and gin. So from the bottom, you have beer is the least likely to cause a hangover, and then whiskey and gin, and then rum and red wine at the top were the studies that were shown with this specific um, scientific study that happened. So I thought that was super interesting. Obviously, we can't drink beer because it has gluten in it.
Yep.
But like a whiskey or gin might be a good alternative compared to red wine and rum. And we hear a lot about like, oh, the amount of sugar that is added in a lot of these cocktails, which is something that I am really, really aware of. So there's a lot of things that Cicely and I do when we go out drinking to kind of decrease the impact and the effects that alcohol is going to have on our body. So making sure that we ate enough protein and carbs that day before we go out and start drinking is a really big thing. Like I'll be like, "Hey sis, what'd you have for dinner? I
Yeah.
had potatoes,"
Yeah.
something like that with steak. And like really making sure you're eating a full meal is going to decrease the impact that alcohol has on your body.
Yeah, especially because we eat normally a very high protein, low carb diet. Shannon and I have talked about before the nights that like we know we've gone out and only really had protein and like some veggies for dinner, that alcohol impacted us way harder than it would have if we had had some carbs with dinner that day. So it's not something that we both definitely focus on. Like, let's get some potatoes, let's get some rice, something that will be able to help like absorb some of the alcohol when we do go out tonight.
Yes, huge thing. As well, like making sure we're drinking water, staying hydrated, especially if it's like a game day and we're going out, or even, I mean, you could do it at nighttime too, but alternating. I had a drink, now I'm gonna have a glass of water. I had another drink, I'm gonna have another glass of water, has really helped. And then my main thing, I stick to vodka sodas. That is like when I'm going out or I'm drinking at home, that is all I try to drink is a shot of Tito's with some soda water and a lime, really staying away from the sugar and simple ingredients.
Yeah. I love to stick to vodka or wine. Like, I'm a big wine person. I think wine doesn't affect my stomach as hard as other alcohols because it's a lot of the ingredients in wine are more known to our body than other alcohols. But I definitely, same thing, vodka soda with lime or a glass of wine, and I try to cap it there and just stick with those when I go out. There are also definitely a lot of non-alcoholic alternatives that we've been trying throughout the semester. My favorite has been the Hi-O seltzers. I think they taste really similar to regular seltzers, if not kind of better. And Shayna, do you want to talk about your favorites?
Yes, I also started drinking something called Moment. They're very similar to the Hyos. They are adaptogens and they have L-theanine and glutamate in them. Glutamate, I think is how you pronounce it. So they're adaptogen drinks. They're kind of there as that alternative. They're supposed to calm and chill you out without having drugs or alcohol. So I've really loved drinking those. And I still feel like I'm holding something, it's bubbly and
Mhm.
I'm being social, but I'm more chilled out and I'm not so like worried about things. I actually just picked up a 4 pack of the Hyos when I was at the grocery store earlier today,
Nice.
hoping to bring them to my Thanksgiving dinner. And instead of sipping on some wine, I will be sipping on my Hyo drink.
Hmm.
Um, so that's been a really big thing for us. Cicely and I love to talk about like, oh, I found this new flavor at
Yeah.
the grocery store. Like, you have to try this. So that's been kind of fun for us. And again, you have to find alternatives that you enjoy and that still make it fun for you. Um, and I've loved getting to share that with some of my other friends in college, letting them try the different non-alcoholic kind of seltzer or adaptogen drinks. And just like having those conversations and being like, yeah, I'm sober tonight and here's how I'm doing it. And a lot of our friends are super like open and honest about it and want to know more. They're super supportive about it too, which has been so awesome. But again, we mix in there some alcohol and we just learn how to balance, I'd say, that 80-20 lifestyle that we talk about so often.
Yeah, 100%. So we hope you guys enjoyed this episode and learned a couple things, and maybe we'll cut back alcohol tolerance a little bit and your use of it. But we hope you continue to join us as we go through this journey of continuing to refine our lives. And we have episodes every other Wednesday at noon. You can also follow us on Instagram at Continuously Refined. Thanks so much for listening.
Bye.
Bye.